Dmitry is from EOS Data Analytics. Dmitry is a senior executive for Earth observation intelligence in LATAM, with experience in remote sensing, Earth observation, and application of satellite-based information to agriculture and other business. So it's a pleasure to have him with us today. So Dmitry, the floor is yours.
Thank you, guys. The pleasure is mine. I try to do it more interactive, more interesting for you. And of course, if you have some question, we told about this in the end. Today, I relate about satellite data to action, about remote sensing and precision agriculture for better decision making. Of course, to do it, we need a lot of data because depending on how many data we have, we can do this decision more precision. We have around 3 5 minutes where I talk and start about company, and after this we go to some specific solution. First of all, about company. EOS Data Analytics, it's a global satellite data analytics provider that operate with his own satellite EOSat and have some combined with partners constellation. If we told in general, it's around 160 sats, thermal, optical, SAR, hyperspectral, and LIDAR. If we told about the team, it's around 220, 230 guys. We have in-house R&D department that contains with scientists, GIS specialists, and of course with some doctor of science. Our main industries are the next as infrastructure, agro and forestry, environment, security, oil and gas, and maritime. About headquarters, it's in US and California, Menlo Park, and we have two additional quarters. One of these quarters it's in Portugal, and one additional we have in Ukraine, and we have our R&D center in Ukraine too. In general, we have some division of our clients. We can divide it in 5 blocks. It's agricultural input and agri-science, agricultural production and energy, financial NGO partners, global development, sustainability, and the last technology equipment. If you can see, we have some big names, for example, Syngenta, Bayer, Ryzen, Eni, Cargill, UPL, and of course we have some local guys, for example, we can put here AgriBest, Fancampo, and some additional names. About solution, today we have our 3 platforms that focus in different, for example, needs. Crop monitoring is focused most related to precision agriculture. We have some additional platforms that name land viewers that focus more on GIS, some specific tasks. And the last one is the platform of visualization that name Aspectrum. According to this additional, we have the access to API. If you need all this data by API, we can have this option. Of course, we have custom solution where it's the main our pillar here. It's our own R&D department, and of course, we have option to have a white label. Today, we try to speak in more related to crop monitoring because it's related the most to precision agriculture. And if we have time, in the last I show some options and some examples of custom solution and how it works for our clients. First of all, the crop monitoring overview. In general, the platform crop monitoring overview is consists of 7 blocks, but here it's the 4 most important. For example, it's about planning, where we have field activity log, where we can plan all our activities, past, actual, future. We have a field leaderboard when we can see together all our fields, have what is happened actual and have the past image and compare 2 different images. The second one is monitoring and handling, where we here talk more detailed about field monitoring, indices, weather information, zoning, where we do this variable maps, and of course advanced weather analytics that what provide to us our partner Meteomatics. The third one is more related about machinery, data management, where we can prepare, for example, these maps from platform to machinery, or reverse from the machinery, we can visualize it in our platform. And the last and one of most important when you work with app, It's a scouting part. We have our application that it's synchronized with our web part. For example, if you want, you can try to work in with the app and it's synchronized to the web. Or reverse, if you want, you can start working with the web part and it's automatically synchronized to our app part. After this, the key features of crop monitoring, of course, it's crop health analytics, it's weather data, notification manager, scouting, field activity log, variable rate maps, and of course, data management and part of machinery. Monitoring health of your crop. Here we have a visualized of first functionality of crop monitoring that name monitoring. What we can see in this slide. First of all, we can see the graphic, what actually visualized our index, in this case NDVI. You can choose one of 5 indices, and of course you can have your personalized indices. It's up to 90 additional indices that we can provide to you. Additional to this, you can correlate your NDVI with, for example, some meteorological data. In this case, we have soil moisture, we have precipitation, and additional here in the bottom, you can put temperature, minimum and maximum temperature. In the bar top to the graphic, you can see the dates where we can search images. If you have two options, because we working with Sentinel-2 and Planet, you can see here HD images. That means that you have available the planet scope images. But in this case, we only show the Sentinel, that it's default package for all our users. Additional to this, you can have in the right top the general information about field. It's related a season, a sowing date, a maturity, harvest date, growth stage, and some additional information that you put. And of course, all tasks, all activity log that you do with your field, it's be displayed in the right button here. Some additional things here, for example, if you need to see this image not related to the legend of NDVI, you can want to visualize it in contrast type. You can do this plus minus, and it's be visualized in contrast type. You can download it in this arrow, and of course, additional, you can download the all legend that you can see here. Related that we choose from default package is Sentinel-2. The period with which you start, it's from 2016 to the actual time, for example. Go to the next, where we can monitor for example, the seeding period. The best option to this, it's MSAVI indices. I don't know if you very familiar with these all indices, but probably if it's needed, we can cover it in the end of the speech. MSAVI, it's the most related indices in first periods of seeding. For example, first 30, 60 days is the most important to see and to monitor the most important parts of our field. And of course, the most important here is have this manage parts of soil moisture and combine it with, for example, with precipitation. You can have a look, and the period near the one of September, we don't have any part of precipitation. And of course, we have this result visualized in our field, and we have this a little bit problem in this field, because it depends with what type of crops you work in. But for example, sugarcane, soybeans, for example, oil palm, they really need, and for avocado, for these crops, it's very important the level of soil moisture in the first this 30, 60 days. Third one, sorry, we can see the canopy water stress detection with NDMI index, and of course you can compare, if we come back to the previous image, in this part when you see the zoom in and zoom out, in the bottom you have this option to divide your screen. And in this case, it's showcase how we can divide the screen and select some different images. For example, we compare here in DMI with 21 of June with 26 of July. And we have this difference. We can visualize the numerical parameter and of course how hectares correspond to this area. And it's really important because, for example, you can do it with what indices you need. For example, you can do it with NDMI to do this comparison in some specific field, with MSAVI and other indices that we have in the platform. The last, it's about yield performance in one tab. For example, if we need to see near the same zone how these crops is developed, you can choose two different options. First of all, you can see the dividing of crops, and second one, you can see the average of these images. For example, it's not visualized here, but I can switch to this part and show you how it looks. 1 second. For example, here you have the average of indices, and if you want, you have this average of crops that you selected that correspond to some specific color. After this, we go to the field leaderboard. For what exists field leaderboard, it's the fast decision to compare your actual state that we have in each field with previous images. Here we compare the actual images with the previous, for example, 1 week ago, and we have these changes. For example, if it's go up, it's in gray, in green, of course. If it's go down, it's in red, and if it's don't change at all, it's put in gray. You have this all information. Of course, you have the fields, the names, the coordinates, of course, the area. You can filter it by some specific indices. You can filter it by groups. You can filter it by crops, and of course, with some specific data. And the most important thing that all this stuff you can download in two options, in Excel format and PDF format, and you have some preparation result in all your fields, what is the difference from the past week and actual week. After this, we go to the yield estimation. We have one biophysical modeling that we use for 14 days of forecast. But we have some specific here. For these fields that's biophysical modeling working, you need to put some specific fields. It's obligatory. First of all, it's crop, and second one in sowing data, because depend of to this row, it's very depend how precision in percentage we can have here. For example, if you don't put this data, probably sometimes for some crops the modeling don't function at all. But if you want to have this option, only what you need is put the crop and the sowing date. And after this, automatically you can see this 40 days forecast. What parameters we have here? It's 6 parameters. It's dry biomass estimation in tons, dry biomass estimation in tons per hectares, yield estimation in tons, yield estimation in tons per hectare, recommended harvest data, and actual yield tons. After this, we move to block related to weather. We have two subdivisions here, for example, historical data and forecast data. In historical data, you can come back to the 2006, and you can choose, for example, some average graphic. You can put here, first of all, in the historical data, you have 4 types of parameters. It's precipitation, accumulated precipitation, temperature minimum and maximum, and summa of active temperatures. And of course, you can correlate it with some specific index. In this slide, it's not visualized, but here you can have some additional tab, and you can select with watch indices you can correlate. But of course, take in mind, related that the Sentinel-2 provides images only from 2016. If you go, for example, to 2010, you only see the meteorological data, weather data. You don't see the possibility and have this possibility to correlate with the indices. Forecasting weather we have for 14 days, and we have in the other slide information what we forecasting, and I told in this slide more detail about this part. The second one, it's about variable maps. We have 3 types of variable maps. For example, you can choose, and it's been tailored in some additional slide, but here you can provide some general overview. For example, if we need to do it based on 6, 5, 4, 3 different layers, we can combine here indices, we can combine data from machinery, and we can combine, for example, our information about solving. And related to these all layers, we have some unified mixed map. And of course, we have this the more production and the low production zones. For example, here we have division of 5 zones. Related to this, for example, you need to introduce or you need to do some fertilizer process. And of course, you can put from the most productivity zone the lower and the lower zone the most quantity of fertilizers. Related to this, you can put here additionally, you can have one tab to put the price per this unit, and you can have a total about how units you can need to cover this field, and total amount of money what you need to pay about all this information. And the most important point here, when you download this shape file, it can be adapted to, for example, most specific machinery data in John Deere, New Holland, Case, Class, Trimble, Amazon, Raven, and something additional that if you need this all detailed list, you can DM me or tell me and I pass this entire list to you. The disease risk model. One additional point here related to disease risk model and yield estimation, it's not working for all crops. If you need this list, or probably after my speech, I can pass the link where you can see for what crops it's working. And related this risk model, in this case, it's related more to the weather, and he combines some different information, start from temperature, humidity, growth stage, and other things. And of course, we have this visualized something like traffic lights, low parameter, it's in the yellow, medium parameter, it's in the orange, and high parameter in the red. And it's some information of help to our growers, farmers, and final client to take the decision and prevent some previous risks that we can have in our fields. Additional, it's we can see in some different crops. For example, you can see in what crops some specific we have these risks, and of course it's depend in what etap of this crop. It can be more or a few. For example, if we have a look in these previous images. Go to the next. Related to this variable maps that I told you previously, we have 3 options. First of all, and the most the client use, it's map builder because it's can give you the option to combine up to 5 different layers. We can combine some different layers that you want, and you have this mixed map in the outcome. The vegetation maps, it's more related to some specific indices. When you choose some indices, you choose some data, and based on this data, you have this map. And the last one, but not the least in part of importance, it's the productivity maps. These maps only works if you put some additional rows that I told you previously. You need to put to field, first of all, the crop, and additional one, the sowing data. Why? Because productive map only takes the period from sowing to harvest. And it's doing related to years. For example, if you put this crop and sowing data, we have this actual period from sowing to harvest, and we compare all images in this period. And you can do it in yearly basis. For example, only for 1 year, for 2, 3, 5, 10, all what you need to compare and see really the most productive zones that you have in your field. The next one is explain about this type of map builder where we can put up to 5 layers. It can be indices, for example, NDMI, NDURE, RECAL, MSAVI, MOSHI index, NDMI, elevation parameters, yield map from machinery, soil samples, and other data from machinery. And of course, what is the advantage here? It's first of all higher accuracy on VRA, its possibility to add data from machinery, possibility to add ground data, and of course some customization if client need it. Weather data, we come back to what parameters we have in forecast. In forecast, our provider it's mathematics, and he provided to us the precision from 90 meters to 90 meters in this specific square. He calculate temperature, precipitation, relative humidity, transpiration, global radiation, wind speed and direction, cloudiness, and additional parameters the same on demand if client needed. If you have some specific meteorological station, we can connect it by API and you can see all information in your field based on your meteorological station. We have this option too. Mobile app, it's the most focus in this mobile app, if of course for scout tasking, but not only for this, because for specific information functionalities in the crop monitoring, we have in the web, and it's synchronized that I told previously with app. It's monitoring, it's weather data, it's activities, and it's variable maps. It synchronizes for only specific specific functionalities. In general, we have 7, but 3 of them it's only in the web part. About activity log. Activity log, it's very important, for example, to have this tracking all your past activities that you do, actual activities and future activities. And of course, you can see if it's do correctly in time, if we overpassed it, and for example, if it's pending and we wait where this activity ends. The next one, the options that I told you in the start, for example, all our clients are covered by Sentinel, but additional, if they want, they can buy planet images. What is the main advantages about planet images? First of all, it's a revisit, it's daily revisit. Comparison to Sentinel-2, it's 3-5 days per image. The second one, it's a resolution, of course. Here we can see 10 meters, here it's 3 meters. And for my own opinion, it's probably you don't see it's internet or yes, I don't know. Two, in my opinion, disadvantages of planet. First of all, that they don't have this potential of spectral bands. For example, the Sentinel have around in total 13, and it's more easy to do some customization in indices, some combination of formulas, but in the part of planet, we don't do it. And the second one about the focus. In the space, in general, we have many obstacles in time we do this image. And for example, Sentinel-2, his weight is around 1,200 kilos. In comparison to planet, it's only 13 kilos. That means, for example, when the Sentinel focus to the area, in general, all the images, it's really clear. But sometimes in the planet, you can see these disruptions that affect you, and sometimes it's not clear. But of course, it's only my opinion. Probably you have your own. Visual difference that you have, of course, in 1 pixel when you have 10 meters and 3 and 3, it's really a more precision, more detailed, and more accuracy. Go to the next. For example, what is the advantages and how it looks the planet images. You can have the SAT with nothing. It's related to Sentinel. And when you have a SAT with this clear HR, it means that we have planet active for your field. Of course, sometimes we have more than one images. For example, in this case, for field 7, you can see that in 7th of November, we have 3 images done from the planet part. Our testimonials, in general, what our clients thinking about us, their opinion, and some information how we're going with time. We have some time, yeah, Michael?
Yes, we have 2 minutes left. So if you
Perfect,
can.
perfect. Perfect. About custom solution, in general, custom solution have some specific base. It's depend of 4 steps. We choose model of algorithm. We define the satellite data. We define the crops, the accuracy, and limitation. For example, if we work with Sentinel, we can see all and detect all fields from 2-3 hectares and up. If client need the smaller fields, we additionally need to buy some high resolution images because we don't cover the little fields with Sentinel-2 information. How it looks, the client provide us area of interest, the list of target crops, for example, crop calendar if it's available, and if he has ground truth data. From other side, we provide output in 3 types. It can be visualized in our platforms that I told you previously, a spectrum. We can pass a raw data to the client, and we can pass this information by API. In the other side, it's passed through 5 steps. For example, it starts from investigation. We pass to ground data collecting, validation, and filtering. We go to the search, download, and other. We go to the modeling part and the result part. And in general, it's have a time from 3 to 6 weeks. It depends if we have some previous projects that we need to add. And we go to some results that I want to show you. It's the most important thing here. For example, it's a crop classification for USA. In 2024, for 4 crops, you have this division, you have different crops, and if you take with the mouse, you can have a look. It's not have a look here because it's image and copy pasting, but if you working with a spectrum, you can have an area exactly what its field has. The second one, the same crop classification for Australia, 7 type of crops. Crop classification in Ukraine for World Bank that we have some specific project for cereals. Field boundaries detection, it's the main point for insurance company because sometimes the client from year to year not declare the exactly hectares, and of course the insurance company lose here a lot of money. And the most important and the last here, it's the productivity estimation, yield estimation. And here we have this coverage by yield. We have this production in hectares, in ton per hectare, sorry, for sugarcane in São Paulo for 2024. And in this I finish. Thank you for your time. If you need some additional clarification or some points to be more deeper, don't feel free to contact me by email or in LinkedIn. And of course, I come back to you with reply or response.